Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm here with our fire chief, Mr. Patrick Thomas. We kind of wanted to go over a little bit about hurricane preparedness. I'm sorry, I put a candy in my mouth. Shouldn't have.
Yeah, so June 1st is the start of hurricane season, and so May 1st is right around the corner. So we wanted to bring up the hurricane preparedness planning and kind of work, give you guys the information that you need to know so you can prepare for yourselves, because there's only so much the city can do. The most important thing you can do is prepare yourself, prepare your own home, prepare your families we don't know when a hurricane's going to come our way. We've seen them in the past. We've been very lucky and very fortunate to not have any damage in the last. I can't remember of a recent one where we've had major impacts from a hurricane, but hurricanes are a threat to us, and they can potentially cause some damage for our city. So we got to be prepared for that. And so myself and the mayor have been meeting. We actually here recently just finished submitting our most updated plans, and so we're want to make sure that you're prepared as well. And so providing resources and answering questions and concerns that the citizens may have is always at the forefront of what the mayor and I take care of on the emergency management side. On our page, we've updated our website. So if you go to the City of Alice's website, you can click on the emergency management page. On the emergency management page, there's all kinds of data, or not data, but resources and information that you can get from there. For instance, if you wanted to see the evacuation routes, we have links to the state's evacuation routes on there. It'll take you directly to what the state has proposed as or adopted as their official evacuation routes. You can also look at the Red Cross's page from our page, and you can see their recommendations on what to prepare if you wanted to prepare a disaster kit. You can look at the siren system. We have a siren system that we've here within the last year.
Invested in it.
We the City of Alice
Up and going.
fixed a lot of the sirens that were outdated, and we upgraded all of our software, and they've been checked, and they're ready to work. And we actually have some of the most latest and greatest stuff when it comes to the siren alerting system. They're integrated with the National Weather Service as well now. So when the National Weather Service puts out alerts and tornado warnings and things like that, the sirens they can communicate directly with our sirens and make those the people in those neighborhoods aware that there's a hurricane or possible, not hurricane, tornado.
The other thing
coming.
that we want to encourage them is to register.
So yes,
For HyperReach.
HyperReach is our current emergency alert system, and what that does is that sends you alerts through your phone, through your email. You can actually get them on your desktop or your laptop. It'll come across your screen, but you have to register for that. And so on our website, you go to the City of Alice's website. Under the emergency management page, you can click on the link there to register for that. And it's got settings. So I do want to address one of the things that we've been hearing some feedback is that sometimes at 3 in the morning there's alerts that'll come through and letting you know, waking you up thinking that something's happening, and it may be just a fire watch warning or something like that. So those aren't done by the city. We're not the ones that send those alerts out. We're pretty cognizant of your time, and we want to make sure that if we're sending an alert out, there's truly a threat. Those alerts that come in at 3 in the morning or that are not related to us, those come directly from the National Weather Service. But there is an option when you registered where you can click which of those alerts you want to receive, and so just take a look at that list and see which ones you want to be notified about, and that'll help alleviate some of those concerns.
Midnight or
Right,
1 o'clock.
right. So. Yeah, emergency alerting system is available through our webpage. Go on there, you can register for that, and that's how we're going to notify you guys when there's anything, a water boil or any kind of a mass notification that needs to get out. That's where it would go through. And that's not the only place, but that's our primary place that we're going to push things through. But we've also, if you haven't already liked our Facebook page, go look at the city's Facebook page, and we also have an emergency management Facebook page as well. Our website has a wealth of information. Like I said, that's just recently been updated, and we're still going to be adding some more things to it. So I know we're looking at maybe doing some quicker links to be able to get to the hyperreach things.
Some of the things also that we ask the citizens is before hurricane season comes into effect, which would be June 1st, is take a look at your trees, the branches, anything that you could mitigate during hurricane season that could cause flying objects or some damage to your property.
Yes, and I'll use here just, was it Sunday? We had a storm blew through, and that was not a hurricane, that was not a tornado, it was just a simple storm that, you know, developed and pushed through, and we're going to start seeing a lot of those. That's the season that we're in right now. We'll start seeing those repeatedly come through, but there were trees that were knocked down. I know we had a few trees, one over at our CID building, the entire tree was knocked down. So, you know, all over the town, you know, the city, we had those problems. So that's a good example with that light wind, what the damage that it caused. So imagine hurricane force winds, what damage that could cause. So yes, you know, take a look at your property, take a look at your homes. If there's things that are loose, you know, right now is the time to start looking at securing them, trimming your trees, and making sure that you're prepared. Your home is prepared for the storms, and not just hurricanes, but just in general. Like I said, we're in storm season right now, so tornadoes are possible. You know, there's storm with these different storms that blow through. You know, be prepared for that kind of stuff, and we want to make sure that the citizens have all of that available to them.
And I know this is a little bit off of emergency management, but you also kind of oversee our codes department.
Yes, ma'am.
And talking about branches and trees, and you know, we do kind of encourage the citizens that when they're gonna decide to trim their trees and stuff, kind of look and see what that route is, because the city does brush pickup, but it's not, it's like every 3 months, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to give any wrong
Put out a
information,
wrong-
right? But there is a route, and the
It's on our
best way,
website,
yeah,
too.
it's on our website, and the best way is probably call over to the clerk's office and ask where they're at on that route. They'll tell you. Sometimes they get behind, and so they you know, if they're behind, you know, they'll know at the clerk's office or at our water plant. They'll know where they're at on their route and when they're going to be in your neighborhood picking up brush. And we really do encourage you guys to do that, because you know, we don't want brush sitting on the side of the road for a long time, because that also could become a hazard if it gets the brush is in a drainage, an area where water would normally drain out of a neighborhood. You could, you know, stop that and block that and cause flooding. So
Even rodents and
right, and so
snakes.
yes, you know, it is a concern. So yeah, we ask that you try to coordinate that with our city brush pickup, so that way that brush doesn't sit there as long.
So I'm really proud of the website we've built out. IT and you and Arlene, everyone's been.
Yeah, we've had a ton of staff that have kind of
Worked
provided
it,
input
yeah.
to make that page a little bit more user friendly and a resource. And that's really what the goal was. Is we wanted to have a resource for our citizens to be able to go to find kind of a one-stop shop to find where everything's at. And in the future, we've got other plans for that in the future. There are things, so when a storm pushes through, and thankfully we haven't had any of this stuff, and hopefully we never have to do it, but you know, and the mayor knows, and I know, because we go through these training sessions with the state, but there's reporting you know, apps and websites that we have to go to. They're, you know, ISTAT and PSTAT is what they're called, and where we have to go in there, and if there's damage, you'll see if we have a storm blow through, you're going to see us put out links to click on to go and report damage to the state, so that way they can.
That's very important.
Very important, because that's how they figure out how much funding needs to go to a certain community if we meet a threshold to be able to qualify for disaster declarations. That's how they gather that data. And so in the future, our plan is to have those links on our website, so that way it's easier for us to be able to go in there and report damage and report incidents to the state. So that way the state is aware of what's happening, and they know if there's a need for a disaster declaration, the data is there to support.
And it doesn't
our
have to
needs.
be precise, it's an estimate, so if you do estimate a dollar amount, put it in. Don't put it off because you're not sure or you're afraid to put a certain dollar amount.
Right.
It's just an estimate so that we can report to the state, and that helps us in getting funding and getting assistance, so.
Correct.
It's
You know,
really important.
it doesn't have to be an exact dollar amount, or it doesn't have to be an accurate dollar amount. It's really just giving the state's emergency management group an idea of how bad is, and again, there's thresholds for certain areas and counties, and those thresholds fluctuate. So depending every year, they update those thresholds, and once we meet that threshold, that's when we become eligible for funding or for assistance. And there's different levels of assistance, so that's another thing that gets confusing a lot is we may meet a certain threshold to get public assistance, and we may meet a separate threshold to get individual assistance. So many times, public assistance doesn't necessarily mean that FEMA is going to step in and start building homes for people or providing direct assistance to individuals. We have to meet that threshold to qualify for individual assistance. Where
Even the state our input goes and impacts the state.
correct. So there's local thresholds for our city. There's a threshold for the county, and then there's a threshold for the entire state as well that we have to meet so that the federal government can step in and start providing assistance to the state. So all those numbers start trickling in from these applications that we're talking, these links that we're talking about. And so those are really important. We really want to encourage people to use those. Anytime that we see those get pushed out on our Facebook pages or websites, please fill them out, and please get as much information as you can in there so we can make ourselves eligible for funding if possible. And like I said, hopefully we don't have to do that when we get those bad storms come through, but
it's important data.
Yes, very important.
So, and again, our website, you go to the homepage, and it's under emergency management
Correct. Emergency management.
services. Is it services?
Oh, well, right now I have it pulled up.
That way,
I believe it's just emergency management, but yeah, it just says emergency management.
emergency management.
The third tab down on the right.
And then you'll find a bunch of related pages to that, other links and very good information. There's
Right.
also emergency management preparedness, so.
Right. We're right now we're talking about hurricanes because that's what's coming up. Hurricane season's about to start. But we've got other things on there. We've got tornado preparations. We've got freezing temperature preparations, flood maps. So there's a wealth of information in here that's very valuable, and we encourage you guys to visit that and prepare yourselves. That's the best thing you can do is prepare yourself. We also want to push everybody to, if you have family members or if you are have special needs or special requirements, there's 211 is the number that you would call. You can call there to register to be on that special needs list. That list, the way that works is if you call on to 211, you register as a special needs population. That list, they develop that list at the state level. Anytime there's a disaster or something major happening, that list for our area gets funneled down to the emergency management coordinator. So the county emergency management coordinator and I will be able to see who is on that list and what special needs they have, and so that way we can plan to be able to meet those needs for them and make sure that they're
Do a
safe.
wellness check.
We'll do wellness checks. If there's evacuations that are ordered, we know that we have that special needs population that gets evacuated at a different time. And if we need to arrange pickups and buses and things like that, that's how we plan for all that. So if you are somebody that's going to need a ride, somebody that you can't drive, you have a medical need, any of those types of special needs, we encourage you to go to 211. Please register. Please get your name on that list, so that way we have that data when it comes to when we need to make those decisions.
That
When
was 211.
Yes, 211, and we'll get a link posted on here for you guys if you want to call. A number to call. The number is 211. You can also go onto the website and register there as well, and we'll try to get a link onto our website for that as well. Very important for us, and it's crucial as when we're making decisions in the EOC is, when we're planning, if there's an evacuation that needs to be ordered, or we need to do a wellness check and we need to plan for that, having those numbers is important so that we know what type of resources and what type of staff we need to be able to make that happen for them.
And I'll tell you, I want to thank you, you and your team and everyone, our police department. Y'all have done a wonderful job and continue to improve our emergency management services. So thank you so much.
It truly is a team, Mayor, and it's, you know, not just me, it's you know, everybody from city's administration, our clerks, you know, and just in my department alone, I've got administrative secretaries that help with this. Here, you know, now we have a more numbers in our codes department. So one of the things that we're doing here in the next week, actually, and the there's a hurricane conference over in Robstown at the fairgrounds in Robstown. We have I want to say the numbers like 12 staff that are going to this,
That is
and
awesome.
and we're going so that way we can better prepare and better protect our community, better protect our citizens. So we're going to go, we're getting the knowledge, we're getting the information, we're bringing that back, and we're going to continue to improve and make things better on our emergency management plans, and make sure that we're able to respond and make sure we're able to be there for our community when we need to. And we have a great staff, and I don't think the public realizes how many different staff members it takes. I know they see the fire and they see the policemen out there, but there's also Parks and Rec people that are coming in, our IT guys that are standing back here helping us make this happen. They get called anytime there's a disaster. We're calling them, hey, we need to get this information out, we need to do this, and they're the guys that make that happen. It's just there's
There's
many
a lot
different
of
different
employees.
people in our city staff that make this happen. So yes, your finance has to keep all the documentation and make, because if we don't document it correctly, we don't get that money back from the government, so the state and federal government. So very everybody plays a role, correct?
Yes. So thank y'all for all that y'all do, every one of you, our city employees. Thank you for always stepping up and keeping us informed and staying informed yourself and updated, so that we can assist our citizens. And, you know, be on the lookout if you ever see those alerts that come out. Register for Hyper Reach, anything, and prepare yourselves, like what we said, get informed about the brush pickup, trimming your trees, and kind of coordinate all that and being proactive about those type of things. Anything else?
That's all I have, Mayor.
Yes.
Everybody stay safe.
And I want to thank you because my very first, if I'm not mistaken, you were my guest, my first guest when I started the Mayor's Corner.
Okay.
I hope it's not my last one, but we'll see. God willing, if not, we'll see you next time. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.